Okay, it's Mongoose Jake here, and I'm out here in the workshop late this evening. What I'm going to be doing here is taking my Bee Interceptor, which has quickly became one of my favorite blasters overall when it comes to dart guns. Basically, you want something that has a decent enough punch to reach out and get somebody at range, along with, if you can, good rate of fire to follow up when, of course, you're in closer range, or that always inevitable miss when you think it's going to hit. The Interceptor packs both, even in stock form. It has very good ranges with a slight angle. You'll see in my range test that I'll post up before this. I've already recorded it and I've got to work on editing it. But this thing with a slight angle, your typical angle that you would put during actual usage of about 15 to 20 degrees or so, it easily reaches out to 80 and 100 feet. It hits its advertised range, and then some. As you'll see in that range test, I had one that I estimate, one or two shots that I estimated out at around anywhere from 110 to 120 feet out. And those are real ranges that you've seen yourself. Now, can you place a shot accurately at that range? Maybe not. But the ability to actually hit somebody is there. And that's in stock form on a dart gun that costs $20 and comes with a whole bunch of darts. And yes, they're the long distance darts from Bee that have no accuracy whatsoever, but they do go far. And comes also with a couple of magazines. As you can see, just like with the range test, I do like using the 6-shot magazines. I had it just slid in there, didn't even have to hit the release. But gotta remove that, because what we're gonna do is take this thing apart, and I have a worker 7-kilogram spring for a retaliator. Now I'm recording this. Let's see if I can get that to zoom in there. There we go. As you can see, it's a 7-kilogram mod spring for, it says Nerf and Strike Elite Retaliator. I have every belief that this is going to fit into this, because when I've had this previously apart, and when I had it apart, I took it, compared the spring that's in this to a stock Retaliator spring, and it is almost a dead-on exact replica. Wouldn't have any idea of what the resistance is on it, so I don't know if it's a 2.5 kilogram, a 3 or 4 or 5, whatever it might be. It packs a punch, so I have a feeling that the spring in there is a little bit stronger than what Nerf puts in their blasters. But we're gonna tear this down, and I'm gonna get to it here. Of course, first you got to remove your magazine. I just had it, like I said, I had it just slid in there, so I didn't have to prime it and pull the magazine out and then deprime it. Pull off your scope, your stock, and then flip it over to get the screws out. I'm going to refrain from talking during this because I'm going to speed this all up while I'm doing the disassembly. And I'll get back to you as soon as I've got that finished. But I will note, you need to remove your lever first. Of course, it's your pump grip. Remove your, I was going to say priming lever. Remove your pump grip. That's got to come off first. So I'm going to start there, work all the way around, and I'll speed it up for you. Okay, now here are the internals of, bump my tripod there. Here are the internals of the Interceptor, which I'll also mention. This is the same exact dart gun or blaster, whichever you prefer, as the Thermal Hunter. The only difference is the color, and the fact that the Thermal Hunter, instead of coming in a kit with the double magazines, the extra darts, and what I like, this neat little scope here. I actually like it. It does have little crosshairs, as you can actually see through there. I actually like this little thing. The Thermal Hunter is pretty neat with the genuine heat sensing optic, but this is actually a pretty nice deal. But that's the only difference, is what they come with and the color of the shell. Internally, they're the same. So everything you see here applies to the Thermal Hunter. So I'm going to pick it up, let you see there. As you can see way up here, here's where your priming handle, your pump grip, where it actually attaches. And as you can see there, decent sized plunger tube. Decent size. And here's how you access your spring. What I'll have to do is remove this one screw here, and that will remove this guide, and then I can actually pop that out. I have done this before, so just doing it one more time here for you on camera. So remove the guide. I'm going to pop this little spring out and set it aside as well. That's the catch. I'm going to set the little catch aside. And then one screw here allows me to free up the back end of the plunger rod assembly. And all this is a guide for the plunger rod. Here's your plunger rod down in here. It actually slides in there, just like you see my screwdriver can. Hold that screw in place. That is hollow. Now, if I were to go crazy with the spring, one thing I would do is I would probably see about getting a machine shop to make me a metal version of this. That would be an ideal upgrade. I like the idea of putting metal products into, especially since it's stationary, you wouldn't be adding any weight to the plunger itself. But I like the idea of upgrading these to, say, metal. Aluminum would be great. To have a local machine shop take this, get the specs of it, and machine out an aluminum one. Because I really like the idea that if you're going to upgrade, and everybody should already know, if you're watching a mod guide, you upgrade a blaster with a high powered spring, you're increasing the chances of breaking these components because they are plastic. And the engineers at the companies were designing them around the springs that they install into their own dart guns. Their blasters are built to handle this repetitively and give a long time of usage under normal circumstances with this. This spring is not a 7 kilo. No, I would say at least it's less than half that. So if I put in a 7 kilo spring, over time, if I dry fire this a few times or just simply from wear and tear, these components like the plunger rod, the plunger tube, the catches, they're all going to get stressed. And most people watching a mod guide would know that, but for those of you who are just glancing through this, maybe you come from the World of Tanks side of my channel, and you just watch this out of just the heck of it. You upgrade a dart gun, you expect things to start to break down the road. But eventually, I really like this gun. I think I'm going to do an all-out mod on it eventually. That might be something for 6 months down the road. But I'm thinking of going to an alloy plunger tube and plunger rod. And then I'll also do, of course, the catch and the plunger rod guide there, as I'll call it. But I'm going to set this aside, get out our worker spring. I was going to do Orange Mod Works, but unfortunately, their stuff is all sold out off of Amazon, which I'll take the moment to mention. I bought this for $12 off of Amazon. I will put the link in the description below in this video, and with the spring, you get Workers lubricant. You get, this is for the Retaliator. You get the spring. You get a new plunger seal for the Retaliator. Won't work here. And I believe that's also a new catch spring in there, as well as an O-ring. So good deal. I'll show you that. Let's see here, right at the top. I'll just go ahead and pull it out and put it in the box. Easier to see there than trying to look through a plastic baggie. As soon as I can get this open. I'll put it all in there so I can maintain it. But as you can see, you've got a little catch spring, plunger seal, an O-ring, and the spring. this is not going into a retaliator, therefore I can't really use the other parts. But as you can see, here is the stock Bee Interceptor spring, and here is the new worker spring for the retaliator. I just did that off camera, just realized that. Plunger rod fits. Okay, now I will reassemble this. If I have any issues, I'll turn the camera back on, but for now, just to speed things up, I'm going to reassemble this, and I'll do it in warp speed editing wise, so you don't have to bear with me. Okay, here we are. Now I've got it reassembled. I did a few changes in between when I started to reassemble it, and I actually decided to stop and take it back down. I did that all off camera. Removed the little lock assembly. This is all self-contained. Basically what it is it's a little trigger lock. And that I want to remove so that I have the least amount of locks, least amount of things to go wrong. It became very, very hard to prime, and it really only catches at the absolute maximum prime. I had to go ahead and put in a secondary spring for the catch, not the one that came with it, because it was not, that one was not fitted right for the Interceptor. Oddly enough, I had one from when I upgraded my Nerf Recon Mark II, and basically I took the stock Recon catch spring and added it on top of the stock Interceptor catch spring, and it catches now. Catches just fine. Got a few of my little Jimmy Bear extra straight copies. I'm just going to fire a couple across the bench here. And I'll get to doing a actual range test tomorrow. I want to show that it was completed. It catches, it fires. We'll get some ranges and see with the exact same darts. I got them laid out on my table with the magazine sitting beside them, except for this one here. I will do a range test and put that up